Mathematics are the science of structure or the relation that has evolved from elemental practices of counting, measuring, and describing the shapes of objects. These days, mathematics is very important. Therefore, every student needs to excel very well and give good performance in this subject. Since poor performance slightly impacts students' academic performance, although they do very well on other subjects. And there is an urge to analyze about the main factors or reasons for good performance in mathematics among students to help them achieve it.
Problem statement. Students from the high or levels consider that mathematics is one of the most difficult subjects to understand. This problem arises when they are unable to understand the concept and the formula used to solve each question. In addition, environmental problems such as the parental encouragement also gives an important role to their children to stay and always focus in learning the subject. Therefore, this will affect mathematical performance. When performance decreases or declines, this affects the overall final marks for the exam.
Our objective is to identify the most important factors that influence student performance in mathematics. Second is to provide characteristics of students with good performance in mathematics. Third is to develop a classification models using Orange software by comparing four techniques which are neural network, linear regression, support vector machine, and random forest. And last is to compare all classification models which are neural network, linear regression, support vector machine, and random forest using Orange software.
This table shows the summary of the literature review.
The model will undergo matchmaking between identification and solver to get the lowest value of MSE. The neuron on hidden setup are 10, 100, which means on hidden layer 1 it has 2 nodes and on hidden layer 2 it has 3 nodes. The comparison of different matchmaking of identification and solver in terms of value of MSE after Orange software has been executed is shown in the table. It can conclude that neural network has the smallest MSE, which is 0.3 to 1 in its test data, which identification is value and the solver is LBSGSB. So the model can be said be the best since it will provide lowest error and the predicted value closest to the actual value.
Based on this analysis, linear regression model in the workflow at the Orange software for this data, linear regression have the other special table which is renamed as the coefficients. In the table show all the data coefficient and need to put formula based on the 5 base ring by using leaf squaring method. This method is relative instant between the predicted, which is a class value of the two instance. Besides that, linear regression model have the 4 options, which is a no regularization, redirect regression, and lesson regression, and elastic net regressions. Okay, based on this table, they have a same value of the MCE. So they'll have the comparison between of the options, and then we choose the no regularization, which is have the value of the MCE 60.943.
Support vector machine (SVM) is a machine learning technology that divides the attribute space through hyperplanes to maximize the difference between instances of different classes or class values. There are two types of SVM with two types error setting, which is SVM and VSVM. The accuracy estimation depends on how we are setting the cost, regression loss epsilon, regression cost, complex bound, and kernel parameters. The function of kernel parameters is to transform attribute space into a new function space to match the maximum margin hyperplane by enabling the algorithm of linear, polynomial, RBF, and sigmoid to build models. Based on table, we can see that the VSVM of SVM types with the kernel parameter of polynomial has the lowest value of mean square error, MSE. Therefore, the best model is VSVM types with the kernel parameter of polynomial since the value of error is equal to the prediction value. The random forest creates a series of decision trees. Each tree is constructed based on a basic set of training data. When designing a single tree, any subset of attributes is extracted from which is the best attributes of the final model are derived, and pentagram forest is the output of random forest. On the next slide, we will see pentagram forest of different types of node color and size. Okay, based on the different types of node color and size, the best value of mean square error of random forest MSE is 4.690.
Okay, for the copying models, based on the tables shows neural networks with the ReLU identification and the solver LBFGS-B have the smallest value of the mean square errors, which is a 0.3 to 1 compared to others. So the best models for the data performance is the neural networks model.
First, university can get to know the characteristic of students who took the mathematics course, so they can filter them during admission of new students and can suggest what suits them so that they do not take wrong paths during their study. Next, university can detect what are the main factors of student problem by conducting this analysis, so they can provide any alternative or solution to help them get good performance. By this, students can get to know their weakness and strength during studies and improve it from time to time. Lastly, for good performance students, university can suggest any skill related with their course to enhance their skill for them. Thus, they can use this opportunity to market themselves in the future in their career path.
In conclusion, based on our study, the most important factors influencing math performance were the reason for choosing this school, the attitude of students who like to go out with friends, current health status of students' free time after school, and students' weekly study time. By comparing all models, we found neural network has the smallest MSE in its test data with identification is ReLU and solver is LBFGSB. It is because provide the lowest error and the predictive value closest to the actual value.